I am not a victim of circumstances. I am the creator of my destiny. These powerful words from Carl Jung hold an undeniable truth. What if you could redefine everything happening in your life and, in just 30 days, regain control of your destiny? Take a moment to reflect. How many times have you felt stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes, facing the same problems, as if you were on autopilot? The good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. You have the power to change, to transform your life. Not in a year, not in 6 months, but starting right now. In this video, you will discover how to apply Carl Jung's wisdom to practically and consistently transform your life. Watch until the end to see how, in just 30 days, you can become an entirely new version of yourself. Most people live in what is known as autopilot mode. Repetitive thought and behavior patterns, often inherited from the past, dictate their reactions and daily decisions. But what exactly is this autopilot? The answer lies in a part of our mind that is often overlooked: the subconscious. Imagine your mind as an iceberg. The visible part above the water represents your conscious mind, your rational thoughts, your deliberate decisions. But the massive, hidden part beneath the surface is your subconscious. It makes up about 95% of your mind and controls most of your actions, reactions, and behaviors, often without you even realizing it. Let's take a simple example. When you first learn to drive, everything requires full awareness. You think about every movement, every step. But over time and with repetition, these actions become automatic. Your subconscious takes over. And this is exactly how habits, whether beneficial or harmful, become ingrained in your life. However, the subconscious is not just about habits. It is also deeply influenced by your past experiences, beliefs, and emotions. If, for example, you were led to believe as a child that you were not good enough, that belief may still subconsciously control your decisions today. It could sabotage your relationships, hold back your ambitions, or make you doubt your abilities, even if rationally you know it's not true. But why is it so difficult to change these patterns? Because the subconscious is like a deeply rooted program running in your mind. And like any program, it continues to function unless it is updated. The good news is that you can reprogram your mind. But first, you must become aware of it. You cannot change what you don't recognize. So how can you access this invisible autopilot? The first step is to observe your reactions. Ask yourself, why did I react this way? What does this emotion or behavior reveal about my deeper beliefs? These questions are like keys. They unlock doors to parts of yourself that you may have never explored. Identifying the patterns that dictate your thoughts, emotions, and actions is a crucial part of this process. These repetitive cycles are often the reason you feel stuck or keep encountering the same failures. But recognizing them is the first step to breaking free. Ask yourself, in what areas of my life do I constantly feel frustrated or unfulfilled? Maybe it's in your relationships, where the same arguments seem to repeat over and over. Maybe it's in your career, where you feel trapped in a job that doesn't fulfill you. Or maybe it's in your own inner dialogue, where thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I'm going to fail again, keep coming back. These cycles are not random. They are often rooted in limiting beliefs or past wounds. Take someone who, as a child, never received recognition for their efforts. As an adult, they may unconsciously avoid taking risks, fearing they will never be truly valued. The result? They stay in their comfort zone, yet feel deeply frustrated inside. So how do you identify these patterns? Here's a simple method. Start by observing your emotional reactions. Strong emotions like anger, sadness, or fear are often clues to these cycles. For example, if an innocent remark makes you unexpectedly angry, it could be a sign that an old wound is still active. A powerful exercise you can start today is this. For 1 week, take 10 minutes each evening to reflect on your day. Ask yourself, what moments today made me feel uncomfortable or frustrated? Why did I react this way? Has this happened before? What underlying beliefs or fears might explain my reaction? This exercise may seem simple, but it is incredibly revealing. It allows you to see patterns you may have never noticed before. More importantly, it helps you understand that these reactions are not necessarily absolute truths, but automatic responses programmed by your subconscious. Once you begin recognizing these repetitive cycles and limiting beliefs, one fundamental truth becomes clear. Every moment is an opportunity to choose differently, and this is where your power lies. What many people don't realize is that every choice, no matter how small, shapes the person you become. Imagine your life as a vast mosaic. Every little decision you make is a tile added to the bigger picture of your existence. What are you choosing to build today? It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the weight of habits and automatic reactions. These patterns are deeply ingrained, but that doesn't mean they are unchangeable. Conscious choice is the most powerful tool you have to rewrite your subconscious patterns. Next time you face a situation where your usual reaction would be, for example, to withdraw or get angry, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this reaction truly serving me? Is it bringing me closer to the person I want to become? This brief moment of pause, no matter how short, can change the entire dynamic of your life. Every time you deliberately choose a new reaction, a new thought, or a new action, you reinforce a new pathway in your mind. Imagine these conscious choices as carving a path through a dense forest. At first, the way is difficult to walk, but with each step you take, it becomes clearer and easier to follow. The brain works the same way. It strengthens whatever you repeat. Let's take a concrete example. Suppose you have a habit of criticizing yourself internally every time you make a mistake. You could replace that criticism with a positive affirmation. I made a mistake, but that does not define my worth. I will learn and improve. At first, this may feel unnatural or forced, but with time and repetition, this new thought will become your new norm. Conscious choices aren't just about your thoughts, but also your actions. If you want to become more confident, start by acting as if you already are. Speak with assurance, even if you feel nervous inside. Simply choosing a new posture or behavior sends a powerful message to your subconscious. This is the person I choose to be. Of course, this process requires effort. It's natural to fall back into old patterns sometimes, but that doesn't mean you've failed. Every time you make a conscious choice, even after a setback, you reinforce this new version of yourself. And remember, it's not about perfection, but about progress. The key is to keep this intention alive in your mind, day after day. Think of every small choice as a victory, a sign that you are taking control of your destiny. If conscious choices are the engine of change, repetition is the fuel. Why do we emphasize these 30 days? Because the human brain is a habit-making machine, and it needs time to adjust. Scientists have found that it takes about 21 to 30 days of consistent repetition to create a new habit or rewrite a mental pattern. Imagine that every conscious action you take is like planting a seed in your mind. If you water and nurture it daily, that seed eventually grows strong roots. But these 30 days are not just about time. They are an invitation to consistency, a period where you fully commit to your personal transformation. Too often, we give up after a few days because we don't see immediate results. But real change isn't about instant gratification. It's about accumulation. Every small daily effort builds upon the previous one, creating an unstoppable force of transformation. Imagine you decide to practice gratitude every morning. In the first few days, it may feel unnatural. You might even think, what's the point of writing down 3 things I'm grateful for? This doesn't change anything. But after a week, you start to notice a slight shift in your mindset. You feel lighter, more positive. By the end of 30 days, what once felt like a simple exercise has become second nature. You now find yourself naturally looking for the good in your daily life, without even trying. These 30 days are also an opportunity to rebuild your self-trust. Too often, we easily keep promises to others. But how many times have we promised ourselves that we would change, only to give up after a few days? Committing to a practice for 30 days is a way to restore trust in yourself. You prove that you are capable of keeping your own commitments, and this newfound confidence becomes a stepping stone to achieving greater goals. Of course, this process won't be without challenges. There will be days when you want to quit, days when old habits resurface, and you wonder if all this effort is even worth it. But these moments are exactly where transformation happens. Every time you push through the urge to give up, every time you choose to keep going despite obstacles, you strengthen this new version of yourself. You train yourself to become resilient, to be someone who perseveres. To make these 30 days even more effective, it helps to structure your commitment around simple, concrete actions. For example, start each morning with an intention. Today, I choose to move closer to the person I want to become. Then, set a small action to accomplish, such as journaling, practicing mindfulness, or replacing a negative thought with a positive affirmation. At the end of the day, take a moment to reflect. What did I do today that brought me closer to my goals? What you do regularly shapes who you are. Every small action, every conscious thought, every moment where you choose to keep going despite challenges is a declaration. I am the creator of my destiny. When you commit to personal transformation, the first few days are often filled with excitement and motivation. However, at some point, you will encounter obstacles. These could be moments of doubt, relapses into old patterns, or plateaus where progress seems to stall. These challenges are not signs of failure. They are an inevitable part of the change process. Knowing how to navigate them is crucial to maintaining progress. Doubt often arises when you start asking yourself questions like, is this really worth it? Am I even capable of changing? These thoughts, though uncomfortable, are not your enemies. They are simply echoes of old subconscious beliefs resisting change. The key is not to suppress them, but to meet them with curiosity. Ask yourself, why am I doubting? What fear or belief is behind this feeling? Recognizing these thoughts reduces their power and allows you to move forward. Relapses can happen when you fall back into an old behavior or habit you were trying to break. This can be frustrating, but it's important to understand that a relapse does not erase all your progress. It is simply a learning opportunity. Take a moment to reflect. What triggered this relapse? How can I handle a similar situation better in the future? Every relapse can strengthen your awareness and resilience, as long as you see it as a temporary setback, not a final failure. Finally, plateaus may be the hardest to navigate. These are the moments when, despite your constant efforts, it feels like nothing is changing. You may start to feel frustrated or even tempted to give up. However, it's crucial to remember that plateaus are often a sign that your mind and body are adjusting to your new habits. They often come right before a major breakthrough. During these times, focus on your past progress and celebrate small victories. Remind yourself that every effort you make, even if it doesn't seem to show immediate results, is contributing to building the person you want to become. To overcome these obstacles, it can be helpful to incorporate simple practices into your routine, such as journaling your emotions when you feel doubt or frustration. Identify your triggers and reinforce your original intention. You can also return to positive affirmations or mantras that remind you why you started this process. For example, every day I become a better version of myself. These moments of challenge do not define your transformation, they strengthen it. By learning to manage doubt, setbacks, and plateaus, you become more resilient and move even closer to your goal. As these 30 days come to an end, you will notice something extraordinary. It's not just your daily routine that changes, but the way you see yourself. Becoming unrecognizable is not about an external makeover. It's about an internal revolution. It's not about how you look, but about how you think, feel, and act. Think back to yourself a month ago. Maybe you doubted that real change was possible. Maybe you still carried the weight of past failures and limiting beliefs that felt impossible to overcome. But now, after choosing, day after day, to break those chains, you realize that the person you were no longer exists. It's not that you abandoned your old self, but that you have evolved. You have shed the parts of your identity that no longer served you, and in their place, you have cultivated qualities that reflect your true potential. People around you will start to notice the difference. Maybe friends or colleagues will ask, "You seem so much more confident lately. What changed?" Or maybe it will be something more subtle, like how new opportunities suddenly seem to appear in your life. But the perception of others does not matter. What truly matters is how you see yourself. You will realize that becoming unrecognizable does not mean rejecting who you were. Rather, it means returning to your most authentic self, free from the layers of fear and doubt that once clouded your light. You will be unrecognizable to the old version of yourself, the one who thought things were unchangeable, the one who believed circumstances dictated life. Now, you know that everything you experience is a result of your choices and conscious actions. One fascinating aspect of this transformation is that it doesn't stop after 30 days. What you have learned and practiced becomes a new starting point. The changes you've made create a domino effect, touching every area of your life. You discover that the limits you once thought were insurmountable were often just an illusion. You start to dream bigger, to act more boldly, and, most importantly, to deeply believe in your ability to create your own reality. Of course, transformation is not without its challenges. There will still be days when old habits try to resurface. But the difference now is that you have the tools and awareness to not be swept away by them. You know that every moment is an opportunity to choose again, and each time you make that conscious choice, you strengthen the person you have become. So, what does it really mean to be unrecognizable? It is not a final destination, but an ongoing journey. It is embracing the idea that life is constantly evolving, just like you. It is understanding that you have the power, at any moment, to redefine yourself, to rewrite your story, and to build a life that reflects your inner greatness. As you reflect on everything you have accomplished, remember this: you are the creator of your destiny, and every day is a new opportunity to become an even more fulfilled version of yourself. The key is simple: take control of your thoughts, your choices, and your actions. The unconscious patterns that keep you trapped in repetitive cycles can be rewritten. With conscious actions and 30 days of repetition, you can break free from those chains and become a version of yourself that you never imagined possible. This message, inspired by Jung's wisdom, is not here to tell you that the path will be easy, but it is possible. It all starts with one decision, one choice. The choice to be the creator of your destiny, rather than the victim of circumstances. The real question is, what will you choose to do from today onward? Don't waste another second waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. What exists is this moment, and it is in your hands. So, take a piece of paper, write down a clear intention for the next 30 days, and commit to taking one action each day that reflects the person you want to become. These reflections are not just theoretical ideas. They are an action plan based on Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, an invitation to start now. The power to transform your life is already within you. All you need to do is take that first step. So, what are you waiting for? If this video resonated with you, leave a comment sharing your intention for the next 30 days and how you choose to transform yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to discover more powerful insights. See you in the next video.